Why I divorced my husband at the age of 27.
Hey friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, we'll be talking about something most of the women, they don't open discuss until they're out of it: divorce. More specifically, we're unpacking some of the reasons women have shared for leaving their husbands. And while every marriage is unique, there are powerful themes and show up again and again, patterns that reveal what's really going on behind the scenes of what might look like a normal relationship. So I put the stitches together so that you watch. I'll be back to share my 2 cents.
Why I divorced my husband at the age of 27. One of the main things I had to come to terms with is doing more for anyone in your life will not result in you being a priority. Now, these are just overall truths that I've learned since I was married to my husband, and not so much so getting into the nitty-gritty details of why we decided to separate, because I don't want that to ever be attached to my name publicly, and I also just don't want to paint anyone in a bad light, because I also take accountability for a lot of the things that happen in the relationship, and the specifics should be kept private. Whenever you do make someone else a priority in your life thinking that it'll result in you getting more, you literally do the exact opposite, and instead of you getting more out of that relationship, you actually get less, because the more that they realize that you're able to reward their bare minimum actions, the more they're going to continue to be bare minimum. If I'm able to get the best out of doing the least, I'm going to continue to do the least, and that's something that I had to learn for sure. Now, this next one I've learned is going to shoot you in the foot every single time until you listen, and that is ignoring the red flags. Baby, let me tell y'all, God gave you an intuition for a reason, and if you decide to ignore that intuition, you're gonna pay for it every single time. It's basically like that analogy when the guy was in the ocean and he was like, God, please come save me, and he sent him 3 different boats and he passed up on each of the boats every single time, and then he was like, God, why didn't you save me? And God was like, I sent you 3 boats. That's the exact same thing. He's letting you know these are the red flags, and if you decide to ignore them, you're just gonna have to deal with those consequences. And when I tell you I ignored every single boat, baby, you would have thought I was a fish. When you think you can ignore it and it's gonna get better, I promise you it will only get worse. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is being valued. A man who values and respects you will never pass up on an opportunity to celebrate you, or to make you feel special, or to make you feel like you are appreciated. And no matter how much you may beg him to do something, he's not gonna do it, baby, if he does not want to, because as the saying goes, if he wanted to, he would. And that is just the harsh reality that I had to realize in life, is if he wanted to, he would have done that already. And don't allow people to tell you that saying, you have to explain it and overly communicate it to a man, because sometimes men are slow. Men are not slow. Men are created to lead us. So how can they be slow and we be smarter than them? And I'm not trying to say that in every situation that you don't have to explain something to your partner to get him to understand. But I'm just saying, if it's repeated things that he's not doing, sis, he does not want to do those things. Trust the actions and not the words. And one of the main things that I give congratulations to is my growth. I literally refer to myself as the rose that grew from the concrete. I truly realized what I deserved out of a relationship, and you have to make sure that the person you decide to bring children into the world with is a person that you like, a person that you would want your kids to mirror. And even if you don't want kids, I feel like putting yourself or using that example as a scenario, like if I were to have a child, would I be okay if my child grew up to be exactly like this person that I'm with right now? Ask yourself that question, and that will literally tell you all that I feel like you need to know. All in all, I grew from my past relationship, and I only want to make the best decisions for myself in the future. And that's really why I am talking about this on this platform, just to be a girl's girl. Make sure you don't make the same decisions without the right advice that I did. So follow along on this journey of becoming Crystal Nicole while I share with you guys tips like these.
So you see women on this app like crashing out because of how horrible like their ex-husbands are, their baby dads are, just like ruining their life and just, you know, making their life so difficult. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so horrible what those women are going through. And now I'm one of them. I filed for divorce 2 months ago. I've been trying to look for an apartment, and the places that I'm looking at, I need to make 3 times the rent to be able to rent them. And unfortunately, with my job, I'm a CNA. I don't make 3 times the rent. So I need a child support order to be able to add to my income so I can meet the requirement. And I've been trying to get into some sort of settlement with my soon-to-be ex-husband on that. And basically, he is blackmailing me, I guess. He wants me to sign away all rights I have to his military retirement. He is in the Army. He has been in for 18 years. He'll be retiring in 2 years. And I've been married to him the entire time. So the retirement's a marital asset. So I am entitled to part of it. We've been going back and forth and fighting about it, and I just can't take it anymore. I just want to leave. I just want to move out, and I just want to start my life over. So I offer to sign away my right to the military retirement in return for spousal support and the entirety of the savings account that we have. I send the proposal to my lawyer and tell her this is what I'm proposing to do. And she comes back and says, well, this is a bad idea. And then she says, well, you could get a temporary order from the court for the child support, but that's going to cost you $4,000 in legal fees, and it may not be binding because it's only temporary, so you may not even be able to use that to really add to your income. And she goes into this long thing, which I appreciate. I appreciate her telling me the legal stuff, because she's basically telling me you are an idiot to sign this away. And she does all the numbers, and the numbers don't make any sense. Basically, I'm giving away more to get less. She's basically trying to persuade me to kind of wait this out till the final order happens because it will go in my favor if I can just wait it out. But I can't wait it out because I have to stay in the house with this person. Yesterday, he called me the nanny. He said that I'm going to pay you child support and you're just going to be the nanny for my kids. When I told him, like, I need to try and stay in the district so our kids can keep going to their school, and the neighborhood that we're in is a little bit more expensive, so I need the child support order. And he said, it's not my problem. It's not my problem that you can't afford a place for them to live. In fact, I hope that's how it plays out, because I want the kids to see that you can't support them. I want the kids to see that you can't afford for them to live in a nice place. And I want them to know that they're going to have to go through a hardship because of what you did. Your pressure campaign that he's been putting me under for the last 2 months since I filed is really him trying to get me to drop the whole thing. I honestly believe that. I honestly believe he just wants me to drop the whole thing. If I went to him and I said, okay, I'm just going to drop the divorce, got rid of my lawyer, and then didn't do anything, I think he'd drop his lawyer and we would just go about life like before. I honestly believe that. I just think he doesn't want to not be married anymore to me. Not because he loves me or anything like that, but just because this is a big inconvenience to him. It's a big inconvenience, and he has to do all of these things he doesn't want to do, and all he wants to really do is just go to work, come home, play video games, watch some corn, and nap. And I'm disrupting all of his plans with my annoying, irritating divorce. This is very long, but I'm hoping that a woman's going to see me, see what I'm going through, and say to yourself, I don't want to go through that. And it could easily be me, because it could easily be you. I am not special. I'm not special or unique. I'm just a woman. I'm just a woman with 2 kids. It could happen to you too.
Let's go get a divorce. Thank you, Jesus. I'm a 40-year-old single mom to a teenager in Dallas, and girl, I love it that way. As I sit here and reflect, girl, that is done and over with, that chapter in my life. The only communication I need to have with this man is once a month over text, and that's just me sending him his credit card balance because he's paying me on a monthly basis, and so far he has been, so I'm grateful for that. And if one day he decides to not pay me, girl, I got so much evidence against you, boy, you better watch out. He is so lucky I didn't press charges against him. And I don't know if that was me being dumb or me just caring too much and being dumb. But it is what it is. I was so nervous on this day to go inside the court for the court hearing. I was doing everything under the sun except going inside. I was there 20 minutes early, of course. I went inside the metal detectors and she was like, ma'am, do you have tweezers in here? I said, yes, ma'am. I carry them with me because I pluck my gray hairs out. She was like, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to take those back to your car or throw them away outside and go back out the metal detectors. So I did. And when I did, I was like, I don't have time to go back into the car. It's too many steps. I put them on top of a little trash can outside. Girl, and when I was done with court, I walked out, went straight to that trash can. My tweezers were gone. I sure did low-key side-eye the lady that was cleaning. I just knew she'd throw them away. Such a sad moment. They're only $3.99 at Marshall's for a 2-pack. I need to get some more. Your girl is divorced. Whew. Your girl is divorced. Back to my maiden name. I'm sorry, Dad.
My divorce was finalized in 8 minutes. My 19-year marriage was over in 8 minutes. It was done via Zoom, and that includes the hold music. And after it was over, I felt very emotional. I was grieving because I had spent 19 years of my life with this one person, and it was over in 8 minutes just like that. And my instinct, because him and I had to talk before the divorce, before we got on Zoom or whatever. And my instinct afterwards was to call and check to see if he was okay. And I'm like, no, you're not a wife anymore. You're not. And he's not your responsibility. You are your responsibility. And I cried because, again, we had been together since we were 18 years old. I've known him more than half my life. And so for it to be over in 8 minutes, I'm like, wow. Okay, the other part of your question, you said, did you feel regretful during the waiting process, even though you were doing the right thing? No, there was no regret because I knew I was choosing me and I knew it was the right thing to do. I think the most painful part for me was breaking up the home for my children. My ex and I are all they knew. They knew their family home. They had been in it since they were babies. So that part was challenging, navigating divorce with 2 children. But as far as regret, no, I took care of myself. I did what was best for me. And to this day, I don't regret my decision. In fact, getting a divorce was the best decision I could have ever done for myself. And even thinking through everything now, I would do it 100 times over if I had to, because my marriage was not a marriage that I would have aspired to have, if you will. It's not something that was true to me and my desires and what I needed. And in many ways I didn't know. And it took some time over therapy and healing and so much growth to realize that at the end of the day, my ex and I met at a very significant point in my life. And I definitely was wounded. And I believe that there was a trauma bond there, if I'm all the way honest. And there were just so many missing pieces that we didn't have, that I didn't learn that or wouldn't know that until some of the things I'm still learning now. And so, no, I don't regret anything. It was the best choice, and it will always be the best choice. If any regret I have, and him and I have had this conversation in the past, I wouldn't have gotten married so young. I got married at 23. I don't believe in that at all. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. If anybody else have questions, go ahead and leave them below. And yeah.
That's a video, guys. I'm just here also to share my 2 cents, like what I think about today's video. Okay, more women that are sharing their stories why they divorced their husbands. In these stories, mind you, they're very therapeutic to people who are going through divorce, because people grieve in different ways. So let's be honest, most women don't get married thinking they'll get divorced, thinking they'll go into with hope, love, a vision of for the future together. They work hard, they sacrifice, they build a life, but somewhere along the way things begin to break, not always in loud dramatic ways, but in slow subtitle moments that build up over time. One of the most common reasons women say they left their husband is emotional neglect, not cheating, not physical abuse, just simply feeling alone while being in the same room with someone. Women describe feeling like roommates, invisible, like they are raising the kids, carrying the household on their own while their husband emotionally check out. It's not about wanting perfection, it's about wanting connection. They say things like, I just needed him to care, to listen, to notice me. But often when those needs got unmet for too long, something inside them switches off. Another powerful reason is the realization that they outgrew their husbands. Maybe they married young or maybe they changed over time and their husband did not. Many women describe growing into their confidence, discovering who they are, finding their voice, and realizing that their partner wasn't growing with them. In fact, sometimes their partner resisted their growth. They didn't like the woman she was becoming, so rather than shrink themselves back into who they used to be, these women choose freedom over comfort. There was also infidelity, of course, also plays a big role. But for many, it wasn't just the betrayal, it was a betrayal on top of years of silence, being dismissed or being taken for granted. The cheating was the final straw, not the beginning or the end. What hurts the most was realizing that their emotional needs has been ignored long before their affair happened. Some women talk about mental load, the invisible weight of managing everything, the appointments, the bills, the kids' activities, the emotional labor of keeping the relationship alive as a woman, and their husband didn't even realize it at all, not seeing anything. They were physically there, but mentally elsewhere. These women left not because they wanted an easier life, but because they were exhausted by doing it all alone. Other mention loss of intimacy, not just physical but emotional intimacy. When communication shut down, when arguments become repetitive or toxic, when vulnerability disappears, the relationship starts to rot from the inside. One woman said, "We had not had a real conversation in years, just logistic and small talk. I felt like a shell of myself." She said that was more painful than being alone. Let's also talk about control and manipulation. Not every abusive relationship is obvious. Some women experience subtitle control, being told what to wear, who to walk to, or what dreams were realistic. Their husband made them feel small, dependent, or guilty of wanting more. And eventually, they realize that love is not supposed to feel like walking on eggshell. Love is not supposed to hurt. Interestingly, several women say they didn't even know how unhappy they were until they left. They were not so used to putting others first, keeping the peace and minimizing their own pain, that they thought they were just tired of or overwhelmed. But once they stepped away, they saw how emotionally starved they have been. So a lot of men, like most men, they don't even know how to take care of women like emotionally. Okay, they think that if they give you money, that's all. Like, yeah, no. Sometimes you need attention. So I remember I was in a relationship with someone. Like I'll always get back to some point. Okay, this person can do for you anything you want. Okay, it's not like you're going to ask, but he knows what to do. Like the act of service was there, where he can take you out, but he's not present. You only see him maybe once a month. Yeah, and this is the person where you live in the same city. Okay, yeah, and even if you go out, those out, maybe he book for you a place or he takes you to somewhere or you fly out, yeah, but you'll be alone, solo vacations, but you need this person's time. When you beep him, he's not responding, the only message you're going to see is money. I think I even reached a point of sending back the money, like telling him, look, it's not like it's the money I want. I want you. I want to talk to you. I want to bond with you. I want you to be present. Money, like, money is not everything. Okay, it should be part of the journey, but money is not everything. I need your presence. Okay, so like the relationship couldn't work because he was not present, but he can do all these things. But I never wanted money because myself I was making money too. So if I went in that relationship too much, maybe wanting money and everything like that, Then it was it was a wrong move. At least I went through that. But he was a good person when coming to spend on you, but I think neglected my emotions. Like emotionally, he was neglecting me, but other things okay. Yeah. But even if it was if a man loves you, I always believe they're going to be obsessed with you. Yeah, he was kind of obsessed, but not really, because yeah, how can you have someone and you're not going to meet them? What does that mean? Who are you seeing? Like, we're in the same town. Can't you even make like a day over the weekend where we can spend time? I know you work, but you can't wake up to Sunday, please. Okay? Yeah, so that's the thing. So I think men should also work on emotions. Women love attention. They love you to be present. They love you listening to them, spending time with them. Like, it's really important. It means a lot. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys.